Well, often when the sense of energies that may feel as though they're moving toward a liberated state, like as they're allowed into that space of awareness, and they begin to kind of harmonize in that space of attention. It's like something that may feel contracted or very much formed as like this is the energy of, defensiveness or whatever it might be, guardedness. And as it begins to not be told that something's wrong, not be pushed away, but actually be turned toward and be met with curiosity and compassion, it can tend to begin to be informed by that space and unwind. And when that happens, a whole sense of like central experience that's kind of constellating around that energetic pattern kind of unwinds into this space of being. And so often one's whole sense of self kind of feels like it's relaxed into aware space or just simply being. And so there can often be the experience of less of a sense of central self, that's a sense of subject that's relating to this object of experience that really has its attention, maybe first as a relationship of suffering and not allowing or really preferring it to be different. And then maybe when that preference is allowed and the emotions allowed, then when that sense of one's object of perception relaxes, even the sense of subject often relaxes, because it's not finding its relation, relating to life in that subject-object orientation. Having said that, most people will report that that sense of central self may reconstitute in another situation where there might be an emotion that's really grabbing their attention. But the more that one begins to sense that spacious awareness that's being offered to the emotion is not only like a function or sort of a attitude that can be tried on, or like a dynamic that can be stepped into, but actually a natural expression of one's being, that maybe I am this aware space. And when that sense of subject begins to dissolve into this aware space, one may have the lived experience of, oh, this feels quite natural, I feel quite at home in this. Then there can be more of a shift of identity that occurs out of a sense of I'm the subject relating to all of these phenomena, and more of a sense of self as awareness, or almost so just this whole context of life in which all of life is arising and within and unfolding and appearing as. So that can be sort of the initial sense of almost like a reinvestment of energy out of the identity as subject or separate self or I or ego, and almost like a relinquishment of that investment of energy, and it kind of opens perhaps into kind of liberating those funds or investments. And yet, interestingly enough, a sense of self can take up residence in even there. There can be a sense of, oh, I'm this expanded space, or I'm that which is aware of all things. And that can be a much more subtle duality, a sense not so much of the duality of I, subject, and emotion object, or thought object, or other person as something separate than myself, but a sense of I'm awareness, and then there's everything I'm aware of. And that's like a more subtle duality. But as that willingness to just totally allow the arising of all objects of experience becomes more innate and begins to come online and really function and flower, there can be just a sense of that aware, the one that's aware and that which is being awared, or that which one is aware of, that whole construct begins to soften, and the whole construct of duality becomes, you could say, much simpler.